So let me tell you about how food actually saved my life. Many, many years ago, I was leading a completely different life. I was living in London. I was working as a book publisher. I was earning a ludicrous amount of money. I was living in the most amazing apartment. And then things started to fail. And a lot of them started to fail because of my own fault. I started making many, many big mistakes in the publishing company I was running. Many people were going to lose their jobs because of me. And I got to the point where I said, I just don't want to be on this planet anymore. I was literally standing with 1 foot over the fence on the balcony of my apartment, getting ready to jump 4 stories down. And I was ready to go. But what happened was the people in the apartment below me, they opened up the windows of their apartment. They started to cook, and the smell of the food just began to waft up towards me. I always joke about it because I say I got more hungry than suicidal. So I said, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to cook myself a meal before I go and make this final step. And I went in to cook this Indian dish. And while I was making this dal and I was stirring the lentils in the pot as my grandmother had taught me how to do, I noticed all my recipe books, and amongst them was a notebook. And in there I'd written a list of goals that I wanted to achieve before I turned 40. And as I read it, I realized I'd achieved nearly all of these goals apart from one. Just 4 words at the bottom of the page, and they just said, go everywhere, eat everything. I decided right there and right then that that's what I was going to do. And I set off on a journey around the world, and I not only went everywhere and ate everything, but I met as many people as possible. And what that taught me was that this was part of my journey. This was what I was meant to do in life. I was meant to go to as many places as possible and to use whatever skills I had to try and connect with people. You know, for a lot of people who don't know me other than, the rough judge on the Food Network, they might not know that I actually had aspirations to become an Anglican priest. I went to, the selection committee, even though I'd spent years of my life training, deciding that this was going to be my life's journey. And they turned me down. Hard though that is to believe when you see such a saintly man as myself. But anyway, they turned me down. And I remember one of the priests from the selection committee going, Simon, this isn't your journey. And that's a shock when you've always thought that's something you were going to do. So I had to go off and think of a totally different career. And what's happened is that journey has continued throughout my life, but I've just had to find different ways to express the kind of ministry that I thought I was going to have as a priest. But now I find that I have it as a chef, I have it as a public speaker, I have it just being able to connect with people. And that's what's brought me here to Guatemala. And it really has been one of the most extraordinary experiences I've ever had with Convoy of Hope, and I've had many incredible experiences with Convoy of Hope. There is something about the Women's Empowerment Program of Convoy of Hope that is like nothing else I have ever seen on earth. The way it impacts young women and older women to develop their lives in situations both cultural or religious or lots of different ways where they've never been allowed to succeed. And what happens is they come into a program developed by Convoy of Hope with different classes: the seamstress school, the computer school, the hair and beauty school, the culinary school, where we are now, my happy space. And you cannot but be impressed by it. You see the future, you see this almost like blossoming of this women's empowerment here. And I think what's happening in Guatemala is really, really extraordinary, because it's a new take on it, coming into almost an academy where they're going to get these qualifications and they're going to leave here after having no other opportunities before this, and they're going to go off and they are going to get jobs that will not only change their lives, will change their families' lives, and will change lives down the range, because what will happen is their children will all learn from an amazing model, the model of an amazing mother. And they're going to then go out and they're going to take that model out into the world here. And it's going to change. It's a seed that will change everything that can happen here. And so I always say now that I would write back to that priest and I would say, you were right, that wasn't my journey, but me being here now in Guatemala, me being here now at this event, me being here now on television for a purpose. That's my journey. The fact is now, when I'm sitting here with you and all of these wonderful people here, or when I was cooking and I was sharing, that's a ministry. That's a journey. And I'm finding that my journey continues all the time. Because if you'd have told me 3 months ago that I would be here in Guatemala with Convoy of Hope, I would never have believed it. So my journey continues, but I'm in a great place in that journey right now.